Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order.
As required by the Open Public Meetings Act 1975, adequate notice this meeting was provided on January 10, 2019 by publication of notice in the specified times and posting of said notice in this meeting on the same date. Mayor Barsney?
Here.
Mr. Dean?
Here.
Mr. Marqueta? He is excused. Mr. Tundra? Ms. McDermott?
Here.
Mr. Crone?
Here.
Mr. Pinelli? Here. And Mr. Weaver should be dismissed.
He's on his way. Okay, please stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first we have tonight is Chief Mexi here has some awards to present to the firefighters.
Mayor, committee, I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, but I also want to just put some faces to some of the guys, some of the firefighters that do things. We give this award, the Firefighter of the Year Award, every year since 1989. Really has never been recognized. It's just been offered at either our fire company banquet or at our Christmas party probably the last 10 years or so. But the firefighters vote on a firefighter who shows extraordinary work around the fire station, in the community, always there to help, never says no when you give them a call and need something done and stuff like that. So for the Firefighter of the Year, the fire department voted on Damian Ferguson to receive this award. And also Damian got voted in for his first year as an officer as lieutenant. The department started in 2020. So they even rewarded him or hurt him, made him an officer. So Damian, there's your award. Thank you. There, we also do, amongst none of the officers but the firefighters themselves, we do a response award, which he gets a citation bar, and that is for the most calls answered through the year without an excuse, work, so forth, so on. And Austin Lana received it the second year in a row, Austin. Yeah, wonder why, because you're working in the road department. The third award, and this one's a special one. We don't give these out every year and stuff. We have young gentlemen come through the ranks, started as cadet. He's a junior right now, but he works in a place of business, McDonald's in town. So happened to be at work, I think late summer, August, September. He wasn't sure when it was because he said all his work days are blending together. There's a lot more of them, so don't worry about that. But a young child was choking on a cheeseburger. He did some back thrust and quick Heimlich maneuver and saved the child's life right there. So we figured a citation, a life safety saving citation award. Like I said, this is the first we've given out in the department. Seamus Feldman.
Well, congratulations to you all, and thanks for your service. Especially, you're all young guys, and glad to see some young folks stepping up to the plate and taking over. And so, thanks for all you do, and good luck with everything. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Anybody else like to say?
And I'd like to also point out that Damian, Austin, and obviously Joe have been an immense help with the rescue squad over the last year, and the fire department in general for years, because we're definitely shorthanded, and they've been able to pick up and help on several occasions, at least getting an ambulance to the scene and such. So, you know, there's lots of dual roles going on here. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Are you member two? Yeah. No, girl, yeah. I'm saying thanks, guys. I don't want to miss you. So, okay. You good, Joe?
Yes,
Okay, thanks again. Okay. Approval of minutes. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes from the October 17th, 2019, November 1, 2019, November 13th, 2019 meeting. Anyone to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Anybody have any questions, comments, discussions, want to pull anything? Yep. Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Looking for a motion to accept the treasurer's report and the December bill list.
I'll make the
You
motion.
want to do the rest of them?
What's that? I did all 3 minutes at once.
Oh, you did all three?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was one at a
Did you
time.
need to abstain already?
No.
Or you missed it? No.
No,
Okay.
I misheard, sorry.
Okay. Treasurer's report and December bill list. Anybody make a motion to accept that?
I'll make the motion.
You want a second?
I'll second it.
Anybody have any questions, comments, need anything pulled?
No.
Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
And Mr. President?
Yes. The only thing I'll make comment on, I think there's, and I don't know if we're going to talk about this tonight about the reorg date, but there's some invoices that we need to get paid for rec that weren't in here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to probably have to add them to the reorg date.
Yeah, well, that's what we scheduled that last year for January 2nd, Thursday night.
We're going to do, we did, okay.
Thursday, yeah. We did that so we could advertise a one shot, save money.
Is it same time, 7 p.m.?
Yes.
Is Rick supposed to be here? No? Okay. Okay, so, Joe, you want to come do your report? Sure.
Okay, the DPW report for the month of November, storm drain repairs, 3 altogether, 2 on Hamilton, 1 on Fox Run, asphalt for the month of November, 5 tons. We started the LEAP program, which was started on November 11th. For the month of November, this year, 331 cubic yards collected. 2018, the same month, 279 cubic yards, up 52 yards, and it's increased, and we're getting a lot of compliments and a lot of interest in it. It seems to be picking up the last 3-4 years that we've started, and it's picked up each year. Prep the trucks for the unfortunate wintertime months coming along here. We've been out a couple times. The only other real thing here is call-outs already on the 11th of November for ice storms and stuff, and pre-salting of a storm coming in, and some overtime for street paving program while I was on vacation. The guys handled it on election day, and they got all 3, Robert, Kennedy Mill, and Lauren Way, all paved out. The DPW was responsible for traffic control as part of the Morris County Co-op for that. The parks, really winding down on the parks and stuff, but a couple real things was we installed the yard drains along the property line where there was some puddling in between the berm and the west property line. I was able to get the largest majority, except for some small areas of the park, fertilized right at the end of the season here. And there was a complaint to the mayor and some pictures and stuff. We were able to get the Stecker Park monument repaired and did change the landscape lumber there. We put some stone riprap that I had some extra from the ground instead of just having wood mulch there and where weeds and everything grow around there. So it turned out good. I'll get some pictures and forward of what we did, but the brickwork's all repaired and stuff, and it's back in shape.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Joe, I got a couple of questions real quick. I saw on the bills list, the fertilizer spreader was, you took it out of your budget for the DPW. Did you want it that way?
I was thinking because if we're gonna use it in the other parks.
Well, I wasn't sure,
Maybe
right.
we could start a program for the baseball fields that are
No.
town property and stuff like that.
I think that's a good idea. I just didn't want it to not balance out.
No.
Okay.
I think Stecker Park is long overdue for some maintenance.
Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more. Couple purchases, real quick. The winch for the truck,
I got that, I had some extra money. What I did, I was asking for the, I guess you want to call it a small crane.
crane, right.
I was able to get a crane there, and we're getting it mounted onto the trailer edge.
Yep,
So it's not fastened to a permanent truck.
okay,
So we can do the storm drains without having to run a loader machine out there and stuff. They take that winch with them, they pick the grate up. If the grate falls down in the hole like it has in the past, you have to call back or run back and get the loader, go down, pull it up. It's that all self-contained unit. That crew can work self-contained all themselves.
no, okay. You also had a bill for safety lights, where did they go?
Safety lights, I put in some new safety lights onto the mason dump that we're using to brine.
Brine, okay.
So I can see, and the sidewalk machines really don't have no
Sure.
safety issues.
Okay. And the only other thing, I saw you had to order a part, a bushing for the flail mower. Was that for the new flail mower?
Bushing for the flail mower. Well, no, there's some bushings and stuff like that. I'm using up some budgetary money to be prepared for next year.
Got it. Okay.
Changing blades and bushings and stuff like that, use up some of my budget.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay?
And actually, in buildings and grounds, and too, real quick, I see that the cleaning service that we use, which is doing the concession restrooms up there, got billed to buildings and grounds down here. Should Thomas Stewart Park be taking that?
Store Park should take care of some of that. I've been marking the invoices as it goes.
All right, well, this particular one didn't have it to that one, but, I'll follow up on that. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. Lisa, you have anything to note you want to report in yours, or?
We should talk about the request for the movie tonight. I don't think anybody has any opposition to that, but,
That's one for
May
Thomas.
26th they're hoping for, and essentially they're gonna reach out, if we grant them, our blessing tonight, then they're gonna reach out to the police department, have a police presence there, possibly the rescue to have, somebody standing by.
What is this for? This is, was it the GTEA? Is it
Yeah,
the other night?
Oh, okay.
But they're paying for everything, they got a grant for it.
Yeah.
So,
Might even have the pavilion up by
we
then.
might have
Yeah.
to doing that by then. But it sounds like, they're.
Do we need to make a motion to approve it tonight? I mean, so they can move forward?
That would be great, and
Yeah,
then,
it sounds like we should do
Yeah.
that. I'll make a motion that we authorize them and give them permission to use Thomas Stewart Park for that night.
and it would be because it's after hours as well, so.
Yeah. Anybody want a
That's true,
second?
yeah. I'll second that.
Now, questions, comments, discussion. Anybody have anything they want to say, or?
The only thing, Lisa, would you make sure that Lisa Howler, the president of the squad, gets an email to that, please? Because I'll never remember it.
Good, roll call?
There is a chance that, that date might have to change, so if it does, I'll
Yeah,
just report
well,
it.
yeah.
So Mayor Barston?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mrs. McDermott?
Yes.
Mr. Crone?
Yes.
The next, if you read the email migration update, because of how old our system is, he can't use that migration tool, so he's physically gonna have to come in. I've been working with him more this past week and updated him on which email addresses are on desktops in the building, and he'll come here and hopefully do them all in one day. And then for anybody else who has their email off-site, he'll have to work with you guys individually to get those merged over. Essentially, it's gonna take more time, so it's gonna cost a little more. If you, look down below, then the computer and the operating system upgrades, doing the 7 for the PD and the 1 for our CFO computer. I authorized him to move forward with that for the $3592. You guys have given me, your blessing for cost occupancy $4,500, but I wanted to let you know what the final number came in. And then below you can see the cost for the zoning computer. I don't know that we need to do that right away. That's a TC decision in the new year. I thought maybe you'd want to just budget for it. He uses it so minimally, I don't know that it's urgent. But our server for the recording equipment is going to have to be upgraded, and that's very important. And apparently one of our cameras in here is now down. So we're going to try to get that fixed as part of our contract with Brimco, but if not, then we might have an expense for that in the year too. I think everything else is pretty two things with the insurance company that I just added onto here, this cyber insurance. Apparently the cost for that has skyrocketed, so there's gonna be some increased cost to municipalities, and depending upon what tier we can qualify for is gonna be how much money we get reimbursed. So I wanna speak to Jean Paul when he comes in about that and see, you know, based upon what he's installed here and what we have for protections, if we're gonna meet the highest tier or not, and then, you know, there could be a potential cost with that as well. But they're talking about withholding $10,000 to $25,000, and then your reimbursement is based upon how good your security is. You can get all of it back, like less $2,500 if you have the highest tier. So that's all I know on that for now.
Did they indicate what they need from us to show what level we're at, or?
I actually have to, I think, go online into the mail and actually download the whole bulletin on that. I just got an email from them saying this is coming. So
Okay.
it's not implemented yet. I don't know if it'll even be next year. Mention on here about the Environmental Commission, we're down membership, we have been, so we might want to do the good with recreation and convert them to committee in 2020. And I report on the Toys for Tots, the toys that they were able to.
We didn't do bad for our first year, huh?
For our first
Yeah.
How do we do, because I don't have it back.
Oh,
Your new one was,
it's, we had 299 gifts brought to the
cool.
train.
That was good.
You know, Washington was higher in Port Murray, but this is their second or third year. This is our first year, so
and they said
it was really a nice little affair too.
I know they want to come back next year and they're going to give us some more time.
Yeah, it really was a nice. They were there for like half an hour, 2:10 to 2:40, I think it was. And Santa came out, the kids were there. It was really pretty neat. Actually, I think next year somebody ought to jump on, like either Boy Scouts or one somebody's school. If they set up a hot chocolate table and stuff and cookies, they could make a lot of money in that 45 minutes.
So hopefully we can get advance notice and have the school there at the band.
Yeah.
Get the band, yeah, he just needs more notice. If we could get the date, if we can get the date, at the beginning of the school year, he said he could.
I think we were
Good.
afterthought this year, now I think we can technically call it.
Yeah. So, okay. Is that it? Thanks, Lisa. Court report, Paul, anything of significance we need
No,
to note out of
no,
that? or-
look good.
Okay. Health Department, I see, was in town for several septics and some things.
Yep, no. And the second month in a row that they've given us a report, I'm liking that, that's good.
Giving good reports. Chief, you ready?
Didn't get them out in time, but this is October's and November's.
That's what's in this box. I thought you had
No.
cookies or something for us.
Well, I was a little disappointed too.
I was like getting all excited, saying, oh,
Ah,
you
see, look at that.
Here's the cookie.
You called my bluff. It raised me one.
The
huh?
handcuffs.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Handcuffs. Thank you.
Okay, I do not have the money report for the overtime, however, at the hours. And now, so, just to point out the call volume, in October was 925 calls, 19 adult arrests, 4 juvenile arrests, 1 drunk driving, 17 cases assigned to the Detection Bureau, 5 cleared by arrest, 62 summonses, and for the report for November, 923 calls, 11 adult arrests, 4 juvenile arrests, 80 summonses issued, 1 parking summons, 12 cases, no case assigned to Detection Bureau, 4 closed with arrests, and all the other numbers are pretty set. So for our yard for the year, we are up for adult arrests. Right now we're at 154 for the year. Last year we were at 133 at the end of the year. So some significant increase right there. And our juvenile arrests are actually down, which I find that good. 12 for the year so far, 22 last year overall the whole year. reports.
Chief, I do have one, only because the HIPAA rules and the way the electronic information is stored nowadays. Remember the gentleman who collapsed in the park in November?
Yes.
I don't know if that would have been an AED save, I mean,
No,
because there was no shock advised, but there was still a, do we know, did he pass on?
yes, he passed.
He did, okay.
Yes, so I kind of consider a save. It's if someone survived for a few days.
Well, that's usually kind of what the call is, so that he didn't make it that long.
No, I think it has to be a whole day, actually.
Okay, because, for everybody, a gentleman had collapsed, and Chief Mexi and some DPW people were there, the police department was there, the ambulance got there, and it was probably one of the longest saves that I've seen. We probably put in 45, 50 minutes, including at Warren Hospital. And when we had left, the gentleman had a heartbeat and everything, but the laws don't really allow us to find out what happens afterwards. So I was thinking that maybe there was some positive there. And
Yes, I did hear that he did have a heartbeat when he left. And thank you for reminding me that Chief Mexi happened to be in the park that day. And I believe he's the first one that saw that gentleman down. He immediately sprang into action, and I thank you for that. And you're always on call, and you're always there. So thank you. We did arrive there. I remember taking over the impression from Chief Mexi. And,
yeah, there were a lot of hands involved, and it looked promising there for a little while, but
yes, we do, just goes to show the volunteer organization, we got 3 people out there, and the squad was out there quick. So, thank you for that on behalf of the squad. Let's see, going into the, is there any other questions for the monthly report? Okay, the overtime report, for October. Comparison of October last year, we were down about 73 hours. We're at, last year we were at 174 hours for the month of October. This year we're at 101.5. November we are a little bit higher than we were last year. Last year we were at 159 hours. This year we were at 165 and a half. I should know, Sergeant Gonzalez had gone out, so we had to fill his shift, and that were a significant amount of hours. Report are going to 60 hours take care of one. So that is where we're at with that, and we're still way under, I think, the amount of hours from 2008. We will be hours less, however, with contractual money and whatnot. I can't tell you exactly where we're at right there, but as far as our last report, we're higher, just because of raises and whatnot. Is there any questions on the overtime reports?
not on overtime, but how are we making out with potential new crossing guards?
The last applicant I had, a place to call to, and asked her if she would like to come over. She is a crossing guard in Phillipsburg. Right now, with how we're at, what we're advertising is just the one post up there in the afternoon on Wyndham and Greenwich. So it's not 2 posts like pretty much the other crossing guards.
Right.
So I haven't heard back yet. I don't know if that's why. I mean, in comparison, when looking at it actually with Lisa and Danielle, I thought that our rate was lower than the other towns, but it's actually not. Phillipsburg does longer posts, so they get paid more money. They do short posts. If you broke it down to per hour, we're pretty good. It's just tough to fill. So anyways, that was my applicant. I put it out there. I have not gotten any since.
All right, because I was talking to Lisa probably a couple of weeks ago, and I know the avenue that we use to advertise, And I thought maybe in this particular situation, because it's not reach, and, you know, and I've heard you've had people from long distance out come and do that, but we might want to try some local publications, the Treasure Hunt. There's another one that's in the area, Peachy, Coles, something. It's based out of Belvedere, but he has distribution points here in Greenwich Township and things like that. There's several coffee clutches in some of the local general stores where folks are coming and congregating for an hour or so over a cup of coffee. I see them pick up, at least in Treasure Hunt, regularly, so maybe it would jar somebody. So I think we should have Lisa look into those two publications at least and see if something about comes.
Yeah, I did, I do have the print out the advertisement, the place in that coffee shop.
Okay.
Nearby, so, I don't know if the owner's just being allowed to put up there.
No, there's a ton of material on his wall there, so I don't see where it would be an issue.
We have been fortunate, that, Lisa's allowed Tammy to step out in the office, for that afternoon post on Sundays, trying not to take advantage of it, but I think there's only probably maybe twice that I had an officer covering that post, and had to bring someone in. Usually I have, another guy on, that we can put someone out there and it's not costing anything. And we have been fortunate with an IT call, but lately it has been a little bit tough because,
That's the danger of using the police officer.
Well, exactly. Well,
Once the police officer's committed there, he can't leave.
Right. And I know I've talked to Tammy about it, and I haven't really spoken to Lisa about it, but she didn't sound like she'd be opposed to helping out until we get the problem straightened out. It's going to leave us closed for a little longer, but after 3 years of having such erratic hours, I'm not overly concerned for a short stretch here if we had the municipal building closed for a little longer, just to make sure that we don't have an officer tied up.
Yeah.
Chief, have you, just a thought came to mind, with the write-up for the crossing guard, have we ever sent it out through the school's email?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that too.
Should ask Maria to, should send an email blast,
Yeah, he's
because all the parents that are on the email distribution, you get it, you might get somebody there.
But if Tammy's okay with it, I'm okay with that, with using her when you need her. 'Cause especially if there's only one cop on, once she's committed, you can't leave the post. You cannot leave the post, so if there could be something serious happening 100 feet down the road, he can't leave that post. The guy, really.
Yeah, as far as, actually, I just asked her today, we had more than one officer on, but our secretary was following up on the case. So
Yeah.
we're gonna pull them off, but, they've been, more than willing to, accommodate us.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Anything else?
that's it.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, I'm looking for a motion to accept the reports of the Police Department, DPW, Township Court report, and the Warren County Health report.
I'll make that motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mayor Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mrs. Bennett?
Yes.
Yes.
Committee reports. Anybody have any reports from any of the committees? All good? Professionals, Mike?
This one?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, just a couple things. First off, the water main project. They're gonna be taking some time off around the holidays, so it's gonna shut down completely. The only thing really that's going on right now in Greenwich is the actual service connections. It's been pretty quiet. I did happen to have a conversation with John Herring from Rio Tinto. Coincidentally, I was leaving a municipal building or saw him out of the parking lot. Reminded him again about coordination of the paving operation come, in the spring, and he's well aware of it and whatnot. So, the water main project should be pretty quiet for a few months at this point until they continue making connections. Real quick. Oh, okay. All right. received, and I don't have this in my notes from last month's meeting, so maybe I didn't report it, but maybe we didn't hear it. We did receive another NJDOT grant.
So, is this different than the Washington Street one?
Yeah, I'm gonna rattle them off in a second, because we have hundreds of thousands of dollars now that we need to get these jobs done. Okay, it is for the 2020 grant for Rickline Road, which we applied for, so I'm happy to report another grant. We now have 3. We have Stewartsville Road, which we know the situation with Stewartsville Road, and Washington Street.
Right, and Washington.
The whole section. We have Dumont, which we got a year and a half ago, and you guys didn't want to proceed last year, fine. And now we have Rickline Hill. So, what I would suggest, I think it'd be in your best interest, or our best interest, a lot of times there's a shortfall on these grants compared to the real cost. And that's just the way they do it. Their money goes further. We should put together some memos. We're good with Stewartsville Road because of obviously piggybacking with the OU2 project. But on the other 2, we should probably send out some memos, kind of giving you a little budget analysis of what we perceive to be any potential shortfall. I'm not saying there will be one, but we should use this money. We've got, that's a lot of grant money sitting there. So,
What's the, do you know how much the grants are again, off the top of your head?
I'm sorry.
You can put it in when you get the memo. But yeah, no,
Why don't I send out an email tomorrow, kind of summarizing where we stand with all the grants? It's a quick thing.
well, we know the Stewartsville Washington Street one that's gonna happen in the spring,
Yeah.
assuming these guys are done, right?
I did forget about the Dumont, but my question for the Rickline Hill one, and if I'm not mistaken, 130, does that sound right? But it doesn't matter, you look at it.
It's right in that ballpark.
Right, but
Yeah.
can we piggyback that with Washington and pay setters with the same company? I mean, it's right there. I mean, that's gotta help.
Well, let me think this for a second. 'Cause
Well, you don't need to answer it right now. My question is, can it, I mean,
You do it at the same time.
do it at the same time? We've got a massive amount of paving going on up there.
Here, you got the equipment
And
there.
it's all right there, you know?
I mean,
Maybe that contractor would be-
He could do that last, because the pace setter paving is gonna have to be that joint effort.
No, right, exactly.
You're not gonna know it's a joint effort when you're watching it.
Right, right.
But in essence, from a paperwork, administrative cost standpoint, it's separate.
Absolutely.
So
It's a conversation that you can have
It's a good
with
problem.
them.
It's a good problem.
Right.
We're not paving for the next 3 or 4 months.
Right, right,
So
right,
we
yeah.
got plenty
You have
of time
time.
to digest this information and whatnot, but it's good.
All right.
We've got probably $500K of DOT dollars sitting there to put down on our road, so good thing.
All right, and Joe and I were actually talking, and we wanted to get this out earlier for when you apply for the 2021 DOT grant. Because I know you have said that they don't like to do development roads and things like that, but connector roads kind of get preference.
Get higher points.
Um, We were discussing, because there's some budgeting money and everything else like that. In theory, Warren Street and, let's just say, North Prospect Street is a connector road to Route 57 from North Main Street.
Yeah, North Prospect, yeah.
And with that being said, the post office not routinely, recommend the best method to get to their facility is Warren Street Prospect, so that you can make a right into the lot. They don't want people crossing, and then to maintain that flow. Now, I don't know what the big difference is about trying to pull out on 57 at Prospect, but, you know, apparently that was part of their, so that, to me, is a connector street now being promoted by the U.S. Postal Service. Both of those roads, particularly Warren Street, could really use some work.
Yeah, that's that's not one of the development roadways, that I've always talked about, said we're not.
Okay,
getting-
but anyway, so,
That's a little higher, it's got more higher.
all right, well, we discussed that, so put that in your, and when that crawls around, take a look at it.
Well, if they're gonna continue with the same schedule, so to speak, we won't get the application for probably March, April, it'll be due May, June.
Right.
With the announcements coming out in November, so we got.
Yeah, we got time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out, that I thought that was a key area that we should be looking at.
Yeah, no, that's actually, that's not a bad idea. I never take that road, so I don't think it's that long. I'll have to take a little detour next time. Last item, and more good news, I'd like to think, the pavilion. Good opening, too, we're getting beat. Talking about the pavilion.
Somebody's stealing the police car.
We had a good opening last week, and finally have a number that is, I think, within the budget that we were hoping for. Fine. I sent out the letter yesterday. I assume everybody saw it, pretty straightforward. A little bit of a Dutchman Contracting, who we already have worked with. They did the DPW garage. We were very pleased with them. A little bit of $117,316. Mr. Lavery's reviewed the bonding information we sent. Mike, all good? Yeah.
I
Okay.
just screwed up the notary on that, which membership
And we looked through the spec, it was complete. So, I don't know where we are with CFO certification of funds, but if everybody, is fine with moving forward, even if you want to make it conditional upon certification of funds, but I don't, from what I know of where we stand, both when it comes to our park budget and open space monies, we should be fine.
We're fine. Yeah, we're more than fine.
That's what I thought. It's not my place to say that. So, any questions?
Did he, and I know I sent you an email earlier,
Did you
so
get my voicemail?
I did. So
Okay.
did they give you the plans?
Put a link to me, I can show you the email in my outbox. I don't know why in the world they never got it. In any event, the way it works, it's a little different than what you think.
Okay.
They don't supply the drawings with the bid, because think about it, they'd have to hire an architect to go out prior to getting a contract award, do this work, pay this money, and no guarantees, of course.
Right.
So, what the spec says, the spec gives them the details and requirements, and they will completely go over, they know what they gotta build this. Now, once we give them the award, they will start that process of hiring an architect, I'm sure somebody they use all the time, and then develop the plans to submit to get the building permit.
Okay.
So, it's just a step after you might have thought.
Okay, that's fine. I thought it was at the same time.
And I also, at the bid opening, Jeremy from Dutchman was here, very nice young man. And I talked to him about the orientation of you guys should vote on that, actually.
Actually, yeah, we should really talk about
I
that.
mean, because there's two very different opinions. He could care less. Whatever we tell him, it's
Yes.
not I know somebody at one of our open space meetings was concerned about moving there. It's the same. So he said, no, do whatever way you want it to orient it, you're fine. So, all that being said, unless there's any questions, I would recommend the motion to award the contract for the pavilion, for a 40 by 80 pavilion, to Dutchman Contracting in the amount of $117,316.
Allow you the.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to award the
Wow.
contract to Dutchman. Yeah, finally, this has been,
Would anyone like to second it?
I'll 2+
second
years
it.
in the making.
Any other questions, comments, or discussions on that? Roll call? Yes.
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 Okay.
Yeah, but on the orientation, I don't know, I guess we'll find out from Jeremy when he needs to know, when he needs to know that, so that he can, I don't know when he's
Yeah,
intending to
we
start
got
work.
plenty of
We
time.
probably have
Yeah,
until the next
I mean,
meeting, but we should talk about
And
No, you don't hear until May. 'cause it's
Yeah, I was
gonna be
gonna,
up by
did they give you a
May.
time frame? If you tell them that they got the contract, when are they ready to break ground?
they'll work in the winter, they'll work right through the winter. I mean,
Yeah.
the
He said
pouring,
January.
yeah.
The
yeah.
pavilion?
He
Is
said-
it?
I was here, he said January.
that. Really, the only sticky point is the
That's when they built.
curing of the cement, right?
Right.
Yeah, the
There's
concrete.
protective measures, there's additives, there's things you can do. I mean,
Right.
you know, you don't wanna
So,
have concrete curing at 0 degrees.
Do you want to briefly discuss the orientation now? I mean, so,
No, like, if we have time, I'd rather have you go discuss it at your open space, come up and answer. You okay there?
it's our
or-
decision, though. I mean,
Okay, well-
ultimately.
What's the
I mean,
difference
yeah,
on the orientations? What,
It's just a matter of, so,
appearance or?
it's a matter of which way the roof line is going to run. So, I think of it, the 80-foot line, right? So, if you're pulling into the park and you're facing the circle, and the pavilion's gonna be on the right side after the playground,
Correct, yeah.
we can either have the length go to the right, from the parking
Yeah,
lot to the
like
right,
perpendicular to the
Right,
con- to the,
perpendicular
parking
to the
lot.
parking lot, or parallel. So if you're from the street, you're either going to see the long roof line, which would be
Yeah, I
the
follow.
same way as the concession stand,
Yeah,
Or-
Yeah, it's kinda,
or you'll see the side view.
Yeah. I'm following you on it.
okay.
Me too.
Here, again, this is old and out of scale and whatnot. Excuse me, folks. This shows, the orientation the second way Brad explained. If you
Going
look at the
parallel,
concession
right.
stand, you can have it oriented similarly to the concession stand, where you're looking at the roof
Mhm.
and you see the cupola. That would be oriented 90 degrees different than this. That's my whatever you guys decide. I think that's a better look, because you're gonna be seeing more roof, and it's a nice roof, it's a nice metal roof. You
Well,
can
my
see-
question is, will it dwarf the concession stand? Will look out of place?
Well, it's open too, it's gonna
But
be.
it's gonna be taller.
Yeah, it's taller and it's bigger.
And it's
So,
bigger.
do you
The-
think
the other way-
Do you think it'd hurt the appearance of the snack stand? And
Well, it's not gonna block you.
No, I know, but
It's gonna draw your eye that way,
Away
towards,
from it,
Yeah,
away
if
from it,
it's
yeah.
split 90 degrees, obviously, and again, this is an open,
Right.
pavilion, you're gonna be looking in the shorter side. If you
Yeah,
will.
yeah, from
It's
the parking
40 by
lot.
8,
yeah,
so you're either gonna be looking from the road, the view from the road or the circle.
yeah.
You can either be looking in the short side, if you will, the 40-foot wide side, and you'll see, then the roof line will look like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you'll be looking at it the long side with the roof line,
Right,
seeing
yeah, no, I'm
the
following
roof
that.
core, the roof line going down to Coco. So, and that's,
Hey, what's the-
it's
you know what?
personal.
Again, I think,
flavor.
I think the roof from the road with the cupola would look nicer than having it sideways. That's my opinion on it. I'm leaning that way. I was leaning the other way.
Like the concession stand.
Yeah.
It would look, that's the way the concession stand.
Do we know, Joe, how wide is the playground? Do you recall, like, it's probably almost 80
I was gonna
feet,
say,
isn't it?
that's why I was thinking more linear, where if you got the narrow side right with the
Yeah, so-
playground, it would look better, but now that you said it that way, I think it would look
About
nicer.
55, 60 foot wide.
60
That's
foot
about
wide?
Yeah.
55, 60 by 75.
Okay, so then this would potentially extend 20 feet beyond the playground.
It's definitely extended beyond the
Yeah.
playground.
Playground,
Yeah.
okay.
If it's oriented
Oriented
the way we
perpendicular to
right,
the, yeah.
exactly, the way we're talking.
I think it would look nicer that way now that I'm thinking that way. I don't know if you have any ideas, suggestions?
What do you
You're
think?
okay with either way we go? What about you, Paul? You're okay either way, or?
I'd like Brad to...
I'm probably
to
okay either
work
way, but I
with
think,
on this. I'm
yeah.
with Brad.
Perpendicular to the driveway with the same roof line that the concession stand
Yeah.
has. I see some unity there, and,
Yeah, I didn't at first. I was thinking more in line with the thing.
Well, yeah,
I talked you into it, Bob?
Yeah,
Well, I also consider, not to like, the devil's advocate, but the other building, the equipment shed,
True.
is parallel with the.
Right, right.
It would be kind of opposite it.
Right.
Sure.
So you make an argument for either way.
Either way, right.
But I think the only thing that really matters is, and again, I don't think the wind issue is an issue, right, depending which way
We
the wind goes.
in the office playing around with this because of this issue, we took the sun into effect, like, okay, during the course of the day, the way the sun comes over, what's gonna be, are you gonna be exposed to the sun more, is gonna be more shade depending on which way it's oriented,
Right.
and it kind of doesn't really matter.
It's not changing anymore. And the wind usually runs, I think it usually goes straight back, right?
Yeah.
So,
But even when it's being used with, there'll usually be children there, they're gonna run it out more the wider side than the narrow
Yeah.
side, and you really don't wanna run them towards the parking lot, you run them more towards the
You're
playground.
gonna wanna run to the
towards
playground, that's the other thing. You already
So,
tell the
safety
proximity
wise,
and
it's probably
access to
better
the
off that way
playground.
too.
yeah,
You have the narrower end towards the parking lot.
yeah.
They'll both work.
Yeah, they're both.
I mean, really, it's really,
So it sounds like everybody up here would have it perpendicular.
Perpendicular to
And
the
have it run
line.
the same roof line as the
well,
concession.
I said I have no preference.
I can go either way.
I'll
if,
go
like,
with
we're just
Brad,
further
please.
in discussions. If
Yeah, I mean, if
it's gonna be an
open
issue,
space all of a sudden comes up with another issue, it doesn't.
I could go, but
I mean, right now, I'm all about perpendicular, but, right.
if you're looking for
What
the
open space meeting like next month?
Yeah, we always do that. We're supposed to be doing the first Thursdays, but I think we can, right? This isn't the first Thursday. Our
Yeah,
reorg.
just a second, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I could do is I can send an email out and say we
What time does it
discussed
start?
it.
7:30, because we'll be done by then.
No, we're gonna move it. We'll have to move it. But you know what I can do? I'll just send an email out to the committee and just get their feedback on it. It's no big deal. I don't
I'd
think.
like to hear Mark Warner-Carriage opinion on it. I don't think he reined in yet.
Yeah, I don't recall it.
Yeah,
I know that when we initially did it, it was running parallel with it, but keep in mind it was a 40 by 60, so the difference was
There's a difference
minimal.
now. There's more
Now there's a big
now. Yes,
difference.
there is.
So now I think it would look better the other way, the way we're talking about
You
it.
don't need a motion or anything for that.
No,
Well, we
no,
can,
no,
yeah.
no.
No, you just need a motion to accept the bid.
Did
Okay.
you make the motion for work
Yes.
contract?
We did.
We did.
Okay,
We
so
did.
that doesn't mean any action.
Okay.
All right, that's it for me.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Oh, actually, Mike, I got one more question. Totally different subject. With Kathleen leaving us, she was supposed to be the point person to the grant money for, if there is any grant money available, to do the research on the sewer in the town and all that kind of stuff. No.
That is true.
But I was under the impression she had reached out to be the contact, and then you had said that your office could probably, can we find out where we are on that? We need a contact person, so that we can apply for grant money and all that good kind of stuff, or, I mean, we've got you've got the contact numbers and stuff.
That's a darn good question, to be honest with you, because, yes, we re-engaged her.
We re-engaged her,
Yeah,
right.
Because it had time had gone by, and she re-signed up, so to speak.
Right.
As she was the we weren't the
No, you weren't, she was.
Yeah, she was. So,
But then
okay.
they said they would talk to anybody, we just had to
Yeah, all right.
open up the account again.
That's good.
We need to find out where that is.
Very good. No problem.
All right.
Check it out.
Okay, good.
Good.
Old business, land leases, any updates or anything on that?
I was waiting for a little from Frank Pinto, but I didn't get one yet.
Okay, computer IT upgrades, that would be Frank
Go over
also.
that.
Okay. 108 Washington Street, we have any updates on that?
Well, I want to discuss something real quick. It's an update, but it's not an update. There's lots of things that have gone involved. I've spent some time with John Drill. I think I've spent some time with Mike Lavery discussing it and everything else like that. There's an option. Habitat for Humanity builds new rehabs. There's no rehab in this one.
Right.
But one of our, it's going to cost $40,000 or just under that to tear it down and clean it all up. And Habitat for Humanity might get involved in that aspect of it. But then I think it also becomes struggling for a affordable housing, and then whether it could be done as a COA project. So my conversation that I had with Attorney Drill was, if it was going to become a COA property, we have COA money, could we tear it down with the COA money? And John then told me, yes, but Habitat for Humanity would have to already be on board with a plan so that he could take it to the Fair Share Court to get approval for the release of the money. Then, and assuming that all went well, we still have problem number 2 is the footprint of this property is exceptionally small. It will not meet any current setbacks. And so that's a problem, and it might be a problem getting it through the land use board. However, if Habitat for Humanity gives us a plan and we adopt a plan while we still own it, and Mike, I think this was a conversation you and I had, we are not subject to the same land use board rules that a private owner would have. So we could approve a footprint, a house, whatever, and then sell it for $1 to Habitat to Humanity so that they can then construct that, and number one, it becomes an affordable housing, it's back on the tax roll, and it becomes a COA credit of 2 units. That would be an ideal situation, but there's lots of things involved in that. So that's not an update, but that's a potential plan.
Yeah, because the problem is you can preserve that, and this is one of the things Committee Dean and I talked about, you can preserve the footprint, but you can't ever destroy more than 51%. So
Right.
what you do is, and the condition of that building, you gotta take down one wall, build a new one, right? Take down another one, build another one, and it's just, that creates so much more cost if you do it that way, but as long as more than 51% of that building is never destroyed, then it's protected. But the town is the sovereign, you know, you go in front of the land use board and you say, this is what we're doing, and the board, whether they like it, don't like it or not, and not just our board, but any board, you can get it approved, so.
So another option has shown itself, and I'm going to try to at least pursue it with the folks from Habitat for Humanity to see if they're on board with that. Otherwise, I mean, we're back to ground zero, and we're the ones that are taking it down.
Yeah.
You know, so, but this might be another viable option. So,
I'm dealing with them and actually in Franklin right now, so what's the name? I mean, I don't know if you reached out and talked to anybody.
John Rolak or Ben Escon?
Ben, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So anyway, you know, we're gonna chatter about that and see. I mean, that might be a viable solution and a big win-win for everybody.
So do we need to like authorize all the, just go ahead and...
I don't know. Mike, do they need to authorize that conversation, or can I just have the
I think you
conversation?
just have a conversation.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's just a concept at this point. If we
Right.
don't take any official action, then we go with that.
Polaris Performance Plan.
I would, maybe let's talk about that in executive.
Okay. Good.
Another letter on that.
Yeah, I think we saw an updated one here too, but yeah.
That's why, you know, I skipped you because I'm assuming everything's for executive for you, right? You have anything
Yes,
for public?
yeah.
Okay. Second reading for ordinance 119-2019, it's the ordinance establishing the recreation fees for what 2020 it is for, right? The recreation fees. So, I'll make a motion, we open up a public hearing for ordinance number 119-2019. Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone wishing to come up and ask any questions or make any statements regarding the ordinance? Just establishing the fees for baseball, softball, all that stuff. Seeing none, make a motion to close. Anybody want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Looking for a motion to adopt ordinance 119-2019. Anybody want to make that?
I'll make that motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Any other questions, comments, discussions? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Yes.
We're going to table the ordinance 120-2019 short-term rental ordinance. Resolution, okay, looking for a motion to adopt resolution 98-2019, resolution requesting approval of revenue appropriations of the Department of Community Affairs for body armor for the police department, in the amount of $1,507.21. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kerr?
Yes.
Yes.
Looking for a motion to adopt resolution number 99, 2019, issuing a raffle, 50/50 raffle to the Stewartsville Volunteer Fire Company. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Anybody second?
I'll second.
Questions, comments, discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kerr?
Yes.
Yes.
Then looking for a motion for resolution 100, 2019. It's a resolution authorizing refund to the taxpayer listed on the resolution, which I won't even try to say. But, anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make
them.
I'll second.
Second, any questions, comments, discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kerr?
Yes.
Yes.
Looking for a motion for resolution 101, 2019, resolution authorizing redemption of tax liens as listed on there is only two for $245. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Questions, comments, discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kerr?
Yes.
Mr. Kerr?
Yes.
Looking for a motion for resolution 102, 2019, is a resolution authorizing the transfer of year-end budgeting accounts. Anybody want to make that motion? Total transfers are $66,950. Anybody want to make a
I'll
motion?
make that motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
Just a real quick comment. I did see Debbie last night, and she just kind of ran through these, so it's just year-end transfers to get some of the lines back in for what we need so we can do the full encumbrance.
Yeah, no, I had a conversation. I'm a little puzzled by a couple of things, but we'll save those conversations for budgeting meetings.
Did we vote on that yet? Or- Okay, roll call.
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kerr?
Yes.
Mr. Kerr?
Yes.
Paul, do we need to discuss the chickens or no?
No, we're no further along with that. That's going to take a lot of research by somebody, and I'm not quite willing to do it yet. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to need a cold winter day.
The orders, for the radio booster, you're going to have that for next month?
Yeah.
Right, because there's no sense introducing it now, right? For the year end.
We'll introduce January now.
Yeah, okay. Red light permit?
We have a new assistant captain that was voted on up at the emergency squad,
Mhm.
and he has put an application in to have a red light permit. Captains and assistant captains, both fire and or EMS, are allowed to put red lights in their vehicles. So he's requested such.
You want to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve Tim Bruck getting a red light permit.
I'll second. Anybody have questions, comments, discussion on that? Roll call?
Mayor Barsney?
Yes.
Mr. Bean?
Yes.
Mr. Kerr?
Yes.
Mr. Kerr?
Yes.
Historic Commission, anybody know what's?
I do. The
Okay.
Historic Commission wants to start a program, advertise it, and then give out an application to anyone who has a family member or someone who was a war veteran, hero, passed on or still, and they want to put banners, have the Township Committee's approval to have banners made and have them hung throughout the township to honor them and have people recognize it. They're willing to, if you're willing to have them come and initiate it and approve what they want to do, and then it would be for us to say yes or no.
Sounds interesting. Good, yeah. So the January meeting, they want to come in, just show us what they want to do or talk about, or you
Yes.
just want to do it for them, however?
Jim said he would come in, he has some suggestions, he would put it out, he would make the application, but he thinks that that would be something nice to start
Yeah, I've
recognizing
seen
people.
them in other towns, it is nice.
And, he just wants our approval to go forward with that.
Okay.
And I'll make the motion I think that we should do that.
Have them come in, I don't think we need a
Yeah.
motion for that,
Oh,
right?
okay.
We just put it on the agenda for next month,
Okay.
okay? And do we have to discuss the reimbursement for this tire or what? I guess that probably should be an executive, right? Yeah.
Just now I got my computer.
Okay, I'm gonna move, public comment up. I'll make a motion, open public comment. Anybody want a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody from the audience wishing to come up and make any comments regarding the agenda or what's discussed tonight?
I have a question. What is the organization meeting we have on January 2nd?
It's a reorganization. That's where we swear whoever was elected this year back into the committee. This year was Paul and I, we were reelected, so we have to be sworn back in. And then we make assignments for next year and make the appointments on like land use board and those positions. And it's usually...
Elect the
20
mayor.
Yeah, it's usually like 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It's just a housekeeping thing. So if you want to stay home, watch one of the bowl games. There's still bowl games on the 2nd, I think. But you're certainly welcome. Anybody else have anything? I'll make a motion to close public comment.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay.
Do we want, under new business, I'm sorry, I had one.
Yeah, well, we skipped that. I have a couple of things under new business, but
You wanna do this
I don't mind doing
before-
it afterwards.
Yeah, let's do it while the...
Okay.
Just in case something directors do it.
I just have two things. One is the Community Day 2020. I want to put the date. So we just went through the calendar, and it looks like typically we would do the 3rd Saturday of September, but I think there's a conflict with the Firemen's Convention that weekend, I should say. So it looks like we have to move it to the 4th weekend in September, which would be Saturday the 26th. So, is that okay with everybody?
Yeah, make the motion.
So make the motion to set the Community Day for 2020 on Saturday, September 26th,
Anybody want a second?
same hours, 12 to 6.
Second it?
Any questions, comments, discussion? You know, I did get one email a few months ago, really giving us compliments on the community day, and the person is of a religious faith that really doesn't like to come out on Saturdays, and they asked if there was ever every couple of years we possibly have that on a Sunday for members of that religious community. So I just wanted to bring it up to our attention. I'm not saying for this year, but maybe every 4th or 5th year. I don't know what our population is of that group, so if it's really hurting a lot of people or not, but since someone at least expressed the concern, I wanted to at least mention it, that in the future, something we might want to take into consideration.
And you move it to Sunday, then what's another Saturday?
Yeah, well,
Tough.
yeah. I just wanted to mention it because somebody sent the email and I
Yeah.
don't want to ignore them with the request.
No, well, it's always a rain date.
Yeah. Pray for rain. Is that what you say? Pray for rain?
So if it rains on Saturday,
Yeah,
it
just
goes
don't want
to
to-
Sunday, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I just wanted to bring it up because somebody took the time to write it and I don't like
No,
to bring it up.
yeah, it's hard, I mean,
Oh, it's hard to
just
accomplish.
finding the day is hard enough, let alone, yeah.
Apparently they came on the Saturday because they thought it was wonderful, but I don't know if they had to be home at a certain time. They didn't go that depth on their explanation of it, but just a consideration.
Do we have to vote on that? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Me? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then the only other thing is just on the CFO opening, and so far, and I know it was in Lisa's report, we've gotten two resumes submitted. And I asked Lisa to see how soon they could come in, as early as this
We might
Monday
have
or the
further
30th.
discussion of that in the executive.
I was gonna bring it up right now as new, but
Personnel issue.
personnel, go exact, okay.
We can bring something up in there too.
Okay, that's fine. And the crossing guard is on exec, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He does it?
Okay. Two things then. Back to townwide communication. I think, I've talked to John Paul, I've talked to Cindy, and everything else like that. We can develop our own webpage and have a link to it on the town's website. And it can be handled by each individual group, recreation, DPW, historical society, open space, and whether it's done on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, put information that is pertinent to whatever's going on at the time. Leaf cleanup, dumpster, townwide yard sale, all that kind of stuff. And the other thing that I was relating to it is we can also have a section out of the zoning office about most frequently asked questions, and get a whole lot of questions answered without, waiting till Tuesday, waiting this, waiting that, and to put out some pertinent information on a variety of other topics. Cindy says that she could set something up that way. The department heads could be the authorized administrator for their department and go ahead and put the information on there. And it would be just a link that's attached to our webpage. And then when Bonnie does a mass mailing in the summer, we could let everybody know that that community page exists. Now, it's not us reaching out to everybody, but it then gets the information out that they can reach to the website, and most information should be there. And that is about the best way I can figure out how to keep the public informed of everything that's going on.
Well, I guess as with everything, we try to get that information and like to review to make sure we're going to have any pitfalls with that legally.
Yeah, the only thing about that is, because we currently use the webpage to provide information, I think what the residents were saying is we need something better than that instead of them having to go and retrieve it, we push the information.
Well, I said, but the pushing has
But I
run
know
into
that's
lots of
a lot of
obstacles.
obstacles.
So,
So I don't know that this is going to satisfy that.
well, I
what they're
don't know
looking
that
for.
it's going to, but if we put it out there and then, yeah, you have to do some due diligence, but that information will be there.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm fine
yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
On the pushing, so, and I get just, because I know we've been talking about this for a while, can you refresh my memory, like, what's the concern about it?
Because if you have a list of email addresses, if somebody opens that, we have to give that to them.
Isn't that the same, like, doesn't the school face the same issue?
They probably do, but it's like, you guys will get, look, I don't think it's that big a deal. I used to open my town email on my phone, because it doesn't make it, you're not doing anything wrong, it doesn't make it better.
Well,
But the bottom line
the
is,
school assigns everybody a school email address.
No, he's talking about residents.
No, I'm talking about the school today. You sign up if you want to get emails, and they send blast emails out all the time, and they attach documents to it, like every week practically, right? I mean, I'm thinking in the back who's on the school board, but my recollection is,
Any
send it out.
for that?
sure.
I
I mean,
thought-
you
I
they're
thought it was-
subject to Oprah, the schools, so I gotta
oh,
check
yeah, they
that
are.
out.
Schools are subject to Oprah.
Well, and one of the other problems that we were occurring with that is, even though we would say that you can't reply to it, anybody that replies, Lisa has to go through, not DCA, or is it DCA, to delete it? She has,
Yeah, you have to get approval for destruction.
Right, right.
If you want me to, if I can approach, Maria and just ask her how they work it.
Maybe they don't, because look, it's your kids and stuff like that, maybe there's not as big of a concern, and then when you're pushing out whether or not, like, there's emergency parking rules in order from the town, and I think, well, I don't know, because I don't represent any schools, so I don't probably get as many open requests as we get in other municipalities, but.
What about a disclaimer? Telling people that when you sign up for this, that you're,
Well, the most they can get, though, is a copy of that email
It's
address,
never
right?
a problem until somebody starts getting solicited by, you know what I mean? Because what happens is vendors then, it's like what they do with dog licenses.
Oh, yeah,
They
yeah.
want to get all the dog license records, and then they target those people. So if somebody submits an open request, we can't look beyond, like, we can't ask, well, what's the purpose of that? If it's
Yeah.
public information, which they are, you got to provide it. So that's always the danger. So, I don't know, the school may have.
Then
to
we
take
might as
it-
well sell that list before
Yeah.
we get open.
It's just, you guys, I don't think it's necessarily a big deal, because it's like your cell phone number, pretty much everybody has those, are like home phone numbers now, but if somebody gets upset, they're coming here to complain to you folks.
Mhm.
So is it, that's the concern.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get emails every every week, 2 or 3 from the high school, and texts.
And I know other towns use Twitter.
you
There
know.
are towns that use it.
I didn't ask for it.
You're on the parent portal probably for the high school.
Right. Exactly.
It's, like I said, there's nothing.
See, I wonder if the school parent portals and student portals are protected by the Educational Records Act, like the HIPAA for.
Could be, I don't know, but,
Well, there is a protection there.
yeah, because I gotta tell you, think about that, if you're a vendor, like, and kids, that would be a bad list if you were a vendor trying to reach parents.
Yeah.
The Oxford
Targeted age.
Jewel
so-
wants that email list.
So maybe there is
Yeah, right.
a way that gets blocked, but for us,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
I wonder if that's protected by the
That's
Well-
it.
Educational
I can
Records
find out,
Act.
yeah.
Well, like I said, I was just throwing that out, that I thought there was not an easier option, but another
Yeah, that's
option to
fine.
communicate.
Yeah.
But I mean, it needs more conversation and discussion.
Can I ask though how it's different than just posting on our website and on?
That's basically what it is, it's just adding a page.
Well, no, because Cindy's really primarily posting something that the TC asked you to tell Cindy about. This would be something that every department head, Bob Vetrison, the Open Space, the Historical Committee, DPW, Joe would be handling it. Larry would actually kind of be handling zoning questions, the 7 most frequently asked questions kind of thing. That's how it would be different. And by us doing it in-house, we don't incur Cindy's $35, $40, $45, $50 charge to put something on the town website, which we incur a cost every time she does something. So if we did it in-house,
The
there'd be
only
no
problem is
cost.
that certain things might need to be vetted before it gets put out there. That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Well, no, and that's certainly a question, which at some point down the road, if we were going that,
Yeah.
we'd have to have that
Yeah.
But I think if you're talking your department heads and they're the only administrator, I think at least their department would have to be on board with it. Now, maybe do we make it go through TC once a month? Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm just throwing that back out there yet, because I still get conversations with people about, you need to communicate better.
Mhm.
So, I mean, they're still out there. They're not nearly as bad as they were, but they're still out there. And the only other thing, I jotted this down tonight too, only because I looked at Canyon River's vet bill, and it was over $900 and change, and $800 and change of that's for feral cats. And it's not the first time that we've gotten significant bills for the cats and everything. Look, I'm not a Big Brother fan, I'm not a taxation fan or anything else like that, but maybe we need to consider a licensing on cats to help offset that, because the dogs licensing isn't even offsetting the cost of the rabies. And, and if we're spending $900, $1,000 a quarter for feral cats, maybe we need to look at it. I'm just throwing that out there. Think about that for the next month or two. Just throwing it out there. Because, you're going to have the same problem. Not everybody's going to do it. But, again, we're spending lots of money on feral cats, to give them the vaccines, spay them, neuter them, whatever.
When you said it doesn't offset the cost of rabies, do we pay for our rabies supplies for our clinic?
That's the part by county health, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Let's pay for
Well,
it.
it's free for that, but somebody's paying for it somewhere.
County.
It could be the county.
County health department pays for that. Or maybe
Okay,
it's
I
also.
didn't know maybe if it was different everywhere.
Yeah.
Like-
But I think it's done by the state.
Question on,
Yeah.
so,
Because you can't turn down, like when they hold it here, anybody can bring their dog,
Right.
it's not just for our residents, because it's paid for by the state and the county.
so who mandates that, if there's a call because of a cat, stray cat, or whatever it is, and the animal control officer goes out, is it a state requirement that that cat has to be brought into the vet, or is it a county requirement?
I don't know, I'll have to check that,
I can send you 7 pages of the regulation, but it's just about every dog and cat license now in the state of New
Not
Jersey.
licensed, I'm talking about the
No,
kennel
it's
ones.
providing information about what has to be done if an animal is found injured, hurt, abused. It's like 7 pages, and they want to throw every license so that everyone knows that if you see an animal on the side of the road, you should call this number. It's expensive.
Well, with an $800 bill, I might not call that number.
Yeah, it's all from the state.
It all started with George on Seinfeld, when he hit that squirrel.
All right. That's what I had for new business.
Yeah, I'd like to know who requires us to do that.
Sure, it's a state fire.
So we should
Because
send.
many years ago, they mandated that you have an ACO, and then following that, it was additional regulations requiring what be done for animals.
And none of this gets, like, the state doesn't put any money in towards this? They just,
Unfunded state
unfunded mandate,
which
another
raise
one?
the revenue from licensing.
Everybody wonders why the property taxes are, the state doesn't pay for anything.
Anything else, Paul?
Nope, that's it.
Frank, you missed committee reports?
Yeah, just one thing on the land use board. So, remember, in the previous meeting, somebody had asked us to look into changing the ordinance to allow solar panels on the front of the houses.
Mhm.
And then we asked, well, let's get a referral from the land use board. It was taken up at the land use board. There was a vote, and the consensus was that we already have a process for that, and that process is going to the land use board for a variance. So instead of making it a rule where everybody could go and they don't have to go to the land use board, and then, you know, it's kind of Wild West out there, right? You know, it's, if the land use board thinks that it's, doesn't look bad and it fits with the surrounding area, then they'll get a variance. So that was, they voted, it was a vote, and it was like a 10-1 majority or something like that.
Yeah, I did hear that, and that'll give me the opportunity to bring up this part of the conversation, because one of the things John Drill was talking to me about, because I didn't make that meeting.
Yeah, you were not there, yeah.
He had said, though, that's why in our in the variance process for that ground mounts are allowed, you know, to
Right.
take care of that. Ground mounts aren't working in Greenwich Chase. There's no property there. You know, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So, but with that being said, I still understood and everything else like that. That then precipitated the next question. And this is where John has suggested that you can help me out. Because because I asked Susanna what the policy was for, to get a C1 variance, you need to put $3,000 in escrow plus $300 a meeting. Now, I was,
The application fee's even more than that.
well, and that,
Not more 3,000, the application fee.
well, that might very well be, and he said the solar fee, but at the same rate, then I got Ray Buckwalter, chairman of the land use board, saying that when the deck problem became a problem in Greenwich Chase because of the size of the properties, they used to handle them on a case-by-case basis, and he doesn't ever recall it costing anywhere near that much in escrow and/or application fees to take a look at that. So John said I should communicate with you about what the real number is for that. Because Susanna's interpretation, who's the one that doles that all out, is a C1 variance, 3,000 escrow, 300 a meeting. And I'm not, she didn't even mention an application fee.
No, there's.
Escrow refundable?
It is refundable, but, well, yes, it is refundable, and John thought that there'd be very little professional use of that money, but the other argument is, and I don't want to disrespect anybody on the subject matter, when there's escrow money, it does get a chunk bitten out of it that goes to the professionals.
And realistically, on that case, it shouldn't be, because really, I think the biggest issue here is, in order to maximize the solar panel, they want to put it on the big southern exposure of the home. And that should be like a 2-minute discussion. Guy comes in and proves that my house faces.
I hear you.
The
But
front of
anyway,
my house faces south.
so that's my follow-up to what Frank just
It
came
may
out
get
with.
more than that, maybe you show us what it's gonna look like and that type of thing.
No, it's gonna have to meet
gonna be
architectural standards.
Yeah.
You know, it can't be these big bright silver panels that
They
from
can't
years
be a
gone
different
by.
color than the roof. that
Right,
was
right,
brought
right.
up.
Right.
But anyway, so Mike, if you could maybe read the interpretation of that and see what it is, because I mean, I could see the solar panel paying, a $450 application fee for the homeowner. I can see that. I do not see them dropping $3,000 in escrow, even if they thought they were getting $3,000 back. So could you get me a better interpretation on that, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, I will say this, I agree with what you said about it shouldn't be that much, but one of the problems, being a guy that's on the other side sometimes, if the applicant has an engineer or somebody who drew up these plans and they're terrible, and they don't tell you anything. I mean, you guys that have been on the land use board know this, you know, it's, a lot of times the cost is generated by the horrible nature of the applicant, not just on one of these cases. And it should be a very simple application, but also you've got to take into account if what is submitted doesn't even give the board enough information. And then they gotta come back. Yeah, and then there's multiple reviews, because I've heard a lot of guys complain about like escrow fees and stuff, and then I said, well, who's your engineer on that project? Or who was your, you know, and then you find out that something should have been one night, was like a 3-night thing, so I just throw that out.
No, well, I see that, but, I mean, Mike, at this particular stage of the game, he's gonna take one look at it and say, this is woefully inadequate. Yeah, boom, you know, come back next month. You know, so, but anyway, I'm just throwing out, because here's the problem that we're having. Well, I should probably save that part for exec. Okay.
Well, just to add on to that, the woman,
MJ,
expert,
yes.
So she was there, she did give her opinion
Yep.
and everything, so it was heard, and then the land use board deliberated.
No, I
It was
understand.
overwhelming, so,
Yeah.
I know, and Ray was one of the, he was against.
Oh, he was, okay.
Yeah, Ray wanted to use the variance system. So thank
No,
you.
right.
I've seen where there are other issues with them, like where neighbors are complaining that at certain times of the day, the sun's reflected into their homes and.
Yeah, that,
I
I
don't
never
know,
thought of that.
I read an article about that recently.
Well, we actually have that here in the township, somebody put it on the rear.
Yeah.
And for a stretch of period of time during the day, they have a reflection into the neighbor's house.
Listen, I think in the future, it's not gonna be an issue, because they're gonna have technology where it's gonna be built into shingles.
Oh, yeah, that's.
You know?
Well, there's some truth to that too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've already seen it built into the shingles, so.
Oh, okay.
All right.
One other thing, the master plan review is on the table now. So we're trying to find out when that needs to be done. We may be able to push it off another year. John's looking into it. But if it needs to be done, then there's gonna have to be some budget dollars assigned to it. And then we're gonna have to determine how much do we want them to do.
Okay.
Right, Mike? You could do like a cursory
Oh, yeah.
review, or you could
do
get
the
deep
full-
into it and.
The full McGill.
Right, so we'll have to make that determination during budget time.
Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah.
budget question.
Brian John have a
Yeah.
recommendation what needs to be done, right?
Yeah.
By the way,
That was
I'm still striking out on that report. I'm really frustrated, but I'll still try a couple of.
What he's talking about is,
Yeah.
a while back when the zoning was created, especially the RCD zone, there was, the land use board did a study, they brought in a hydrologist. I don't know if everybody's aware of this. Apparently, underneath Greenwich, we have a fresh water supply that's larger than, I think, Spruce Run Reservoir.
Yeah.
And that was the findings of this hydrologist, so in Greenwich at the time, that was when the Highlands was being created to protect the groundwater. So in Greenwich, we created the RCD zone, which was supposed to be protecting our freshwater supply into the town. So there was a hydrology report done, and Mike's trying to find it. Because if they're gonna review the zoning, that should definitely be part of it. So we need to get that. Now,
I know.
maybe Tom Bolger has it, I don't know.
Well, the guy who did it is Matt Mulhall.
Oh, all right, so he's gotta have it.
Well, yeah, I just haven't spoken with him in like 5, 6, 7
Now,
years.
put it on your list
Yeah, I
of
mean,
things to do.
I was, that's, we can talk after.
Yeah, all right, that's it, thanks,
We're
Mike.
still-
Okay. I'm looking for a motion to go to executive session, to discuss crossing guards, holiday office hours. You had something?
Potential litigation, Polaris, pending litigation, Jerry Kennels, attorney-client, tire damage, personnel CFO position.
Okay, anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make it.
Second, anybody want a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
How long do we figure? 20 minutes?
Yeah, I don't think there's any.
Everybody talking fast tonight? 20 minutes? 20 minutes or so if you want.
No.
It's not moving even with
Here we go.
the... Okay, so, isn't there a thing that picks up the voice too?
You
that's
can
yours?
see it's not picking up the
No,
voice
it's
level.
not picking it
There
up.
it goes, now.
No, it's not?
No, it's not.
Probably just takes us, yeah.
No.
Okay,
No,
good.
It says recording and it has the video too.
I'll make a motion, we come out of executive session. Anybody want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm looking for a motion to authorize the release of the Polaris bond contingent upon a review of the resolution.
To confirm that the connection fees are not included in the forms.
Okay. And that.
I'll make that motion.
Anybody want a second?
I'll second.
Any other questions, comments, roll call? Marson, yes?
Mayor Barsney,
Yes.
Committeeman Dean,
Yes.
Committeeman Marqueta,
Yes.
Committeeman McDermott,
Yes.
Committeeman Perrone.
Yes.
Anybody have anything else?
No.
I'd just like to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year,
Oh.
if I don't see you, and thanks for everything.
One thing,
Go ahead.
The cop that got shot in Jersey City.
Yes.
Just want to wish my condolences to,
Yeah, I was going to do a
Entire
little bit of
state,
silence in the
yeah,
beginning of
yeah.
that. That was a shame. So,
just want to put it on record that, we definitely support the police, and it's a horrific situation.
We came out of executive.
Recognize it.
Assuming
Oh.
my clerk's duties, I forgot to announce what we discussed
Yeah,
in executive. So just to, so we had a personnel issue here, dealing with the crossing guard policy, personnel issue dealing with holiday office hours, potential litigation matters dealing with Polaris, pending litigation dealing with January kennels, personnel dealing with CFO position, and personnel dealing with township administrator. No official action was taken. Copy of these minutes will be available at such time as the committee determines there is no harm to the public.
Anyone make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks. Like you said, Merry Christmas. everybody.
Merry Christmas.